It all collapsed on the very night that was supposed to celebrate me. My girlfriend, Emily, stood center stage at my surprise birthday party, voice trembling with fake emotion, telling everyone I was her rock, her forever. Applause filled the room, people wiped away tears, and for a moment, she looked like the perfect partner. But what no one knew, what only I knew, was that my laptop was already connected to the big screen. In just minutes, her performance would shatter, replaced by the brutal truth. Because while Emily was busy convincing everyone she loved me, she and her ex had been plotting a future together. And I was nothing more than her stepping stone. My name's Ryan Carter, 33, a project manager from Ohio. I've always been the reliable type, the guy who pays his bills on time, keeps his word, and avoids drama whenever possible. My life wasn't flashy, but it was stable. And when Emily came along, I thought stability had finally met excitement. She was magnetic. Emily had this way of lighting up every room, the kind of woman people gravitated toward without even realizing why. She was fun, adventurous, always ready with a witty remark or a charming smile. To me, she felt like winning the lottery. But there was a shadow in our relationship, and his name was Ben. Ben wasn't just any guy, he was Emily's ex-boyfriend. And not just an ex, but her so-called best friend. At first, I tried to be understanding. Everyone has history, right? Emily reassured me constantly, Ben and I are just friends. We've moved on. He's like family to me. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to trust that love meant trust. But little cracks began to show. Text messages from Ben would pop up at midnight, sometimes at 2 in the morning. Phone calls interrupted our dinners, with Emily stepping out to take them in hushed tones. Their private jokes left me sitting at the table like an outsider at my own party. When I finally worked up the courage to tell Emily how much it bothered me, I expected understanding. Instead, she gave me a look colder than ice and said, "If you can't accept Ben, you can't accept me." That was the ultimatum. A line in the sand. I didn't argue. I didn't push back. I smiled, nodded, and pretended to let it go. Outwardly, I was the accommodating boyfriend. Inwardly, every instinct screamed that something wasn't right. And then, fate handed me the smoking gun. An old iPad, one Emily and I used to share, was still synced to her messages. One night, while she was out, having drinks with coworkers, I opened it. Curiosity had gotten the better of me. What I found made my stomach drop. Emily and Ben weren't just friends. Their messages were full of mockery, calling me boring, making jokes at my expense. They referred to me as Plan B. And the worst part? Screenshots, receipts, and flirty texts confirmed they were meeting behind my back. Emily even used my credit card, my card, to cover a weekend getaway with Ben, all while telling me she was away on a work trip. But the dagger came in the form of a plan. A detailed, step-by-step outline in their messages. Ben was waiting on a promotion, and once he got it, Emily was leaving me to move in with him. I wasn't her partner. I was her placeholder. And at that moment, something inside me shifted. This wasn't just cheating. This was manipulation. Calculated betrayal. And if they thought I was going to fade quietly into the background, they were dead wrong. The deeper I dug, the worse it got. Every night, after Emily fell asleep, I'd sit with that old iPad glowing in my hands, scrolling through her messages. At first, it felt like stabbing myself repeatedly, seeing the woman I love talk about me with such disdain. But soon, the pain became fuel. The things she wrote to Ben weren't just private, they were cruel. She called me boring but reliable, as if being steady was some kind of insult. She bragged about how I paid for everything, rent, vacations, dinners, while she kept her options open. Worst of all, she mocked the way I talked about our future, calling me naive enough to think she'd settle. And Ben ate it up. He played the role of confidant and co-conspirator, whispering back promises of a future together once his promotion came through. They weren't just cheating on me. They were planning a life without me while still milking every ounce of benefit they could get from my presence. The hardest part wasn't the betrayal itself. It was the ease. The way Emily could smile at me in the morning, kiss my cheek like nothing was wrong, then meet Ben for drinks that same evening. She didn't just lie. She performed. I started noticing inconsistencies in real time. A girls' night that ended with a hotel charge in another city. Work calls that lined up perfectly with Ben's Instagram check-ins. Even during family dinners with me, she'd excuse herself to the bathroom, only to spend 10 minutes whispering into her phone. When I tested the waters and asked her directly, Emily didn't even flinch. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're paranoid. You're insecure. Ben's just a friend. Don't you trust me?" Gaslighting, pure and simple. And I played along, nodding, swallowing my rage, acting like the fool she thought I was. But inside I was cataloging everything. Every receipt. Every timestamp. Every digital breadcrumb she carelessly left behind. The final straw came 1 week before my birthday. Emily and Ben were discussing the surprise party she was planning for me. Only, the messages revealed it wasn't about me at all. She wasn't planning the party to celebrate me, she was planning it to showcase herself. She wanted to prove to my family and friends what a perfect, loving girlfriend she was. She wanted to secure their trust, their sympathy, their approval, all so she could walk away looking blameless when she eventually left me for Ben. That's when my hurt crystallized into something sharper. Cold. Strategic. Emily wanted to humiliate me behind my back, then parade her lies in front of everyone I loved. But she forgot one thing. I had the evidence. And if she was going to make my birthday a performance, then I was going to rewrite the script and make sure the truth came crashing down on her in front of every single person she thought she had fooled. I called it my silent heist. Because while Emily thought she was stealing my trust and time, I was quietly stealing back my power. Step 1. Collect the evidence. Every night, while she slept soundly beside me, I became an archivist of betrayal. Screenshots of texts where she called me Plan B. Receipts from hotels she claimed were business trips. Her Instagram selfies, smiling in bars, cross-referenced with Ben's location tags. Even audio recordings of her laughing about how gullible I was. Every cruel word, every stolen dollar, every hidden meeting. It was all documented, time-stamped, undeniable. Step 2. Craft the reveal. I spent hours editing. The video began innocently. Photos of us traveling, laughing, celebrating anniversaries. Music soft, sentimental. At first glance, it looked like a heartfelt tribute. But then, like a slow poison, the tone shifted. Screenshots of her messages appeared. Hotel bills slid onto the screen. Pictures of her and Ben together. And finally, her mocking words, projected in giant, bold text across the images of us smiling. A perfect mask ripped off in 10 brutal minutes. Step 3. Set the stage. The venue would be Emily's greatest mistake, my birthday party. She insisted on organizing it, determined to prove to everyone she was the girlfriend every man dreamed of. Friends, family, co-workers, all the people she wanted in her corner. She thought the spotlight was hers. I knew it would be her downfall. Step 4. Keep the mask on. In the days leading up to the party, I played the part of the doting boyfriend. I smiled, brought her flowers, even thanked her for working so hard on the surprise. She had no idea I was rehearsing her public execution. But my plan didn't end with humiliation. I wanted consequences. A friend of mine worked at Ben's company, someone close to his boss. I slipped him a copy of the video with one note: watch until the end. Ben's promotion wasn't just based on his performance, it was based on his image, his integrity. And soon, the image he'd built would shatter into dust. The night of the party approached. Emily thought she had everything under control. She thought she was clever, invincible, untouchable. But the truth? She was already standing in a trap she'd built with her own hands. And on my birthday, in front of everyone she cared about, I was going to spring it. The night of the party arrived. Emily floated around the room like a queen in her kingdom. Every detail had been curated by her, from the candles to the playlist to the photographer she hired to capture her perfect girlfriend act. I played my role too, smiling, shaking hands, thanking people for coming. When the cake came out, Emily clinked her glass and took center stage. Her eyes glistened with tears as she delivered her speech. "Ryan, you've been my rock, my safe place, the man who has shown me what real love looks like. The crowd erupted in applause. Cameras flashed. People cooed at how lucky I must be. I even pretended to blush. Then I stood, tapped my glass, and smiled. "Thank you, Emily. That was beautiful. Now, I have something I'd like to share too." I walked to the TV, connected my laptop, and pressed play. At first, the room filled with sounds. A slideshow of happy photos, trips, anniversaries, dinners, rolled across the screen. Emily looked radiant, soaking in the admiration. But then the video shifted. A text message popped up on screen. "Ryan's so clueless. He'll never know." The laughter died instantly. Murmurs filled the air. Then more screenshots. "He's just plan B until Ben gets his promotion." The music grew darker. Photos of Emily and Ben together at hotels appeared. Receipts showed charges on my credit card. The audience gasped in unison. Emily's smile cracked, her eyes darting desperately. Ben, standing near the back, went pale as the whispers grew louder. And then, the final nail. A screenshot of Emily's detailed plan. How she'd leave me the moment Ben got promoted. How this entire charade was about securing my family's trust before she disappeared. When the screen went black, the silence was suffocating. Emily tried to speak. "Ryan, this isn't what it looks like." But her father cut her off, voice shaking with rage. "Enough, Emily. I won't listen to another word." His disappointment was louder than any shout. Friends turned away. Some muttered curses under their breath. Others simply walked out, shaking their heads in disgust. Phones had been recording since the first text appeared. This humiliation wasn't staying in that room. Emily's carefully constructed image had been reduced to rubble in less than 10 minutes. Ben tried to slip out quietly, but eyes followed him like daggers. Within days, the video circulated. By the end of the week, word reached his boss. The promotion he'd bragged about for months vanished overnight. His reputation at work? Shattered. Emily tried calling, texting, begging, apologizing. I blocked her everywhere. By the end of the month, she was packing her bags, moving back into her parents' house, forced to face the wreckage she'd created. For the first time in months, I felt free, not just from her lies, but from the weight of being someone's backup plan. Looking back, this wasn't just about exposing a cheater at a party. It was about reclaiming my self-respect. For months, I let Emily convince me that my doubts were insecurity. She gaslit me into thinking I was overreacting, that I was being controlling for questioning her late-night calls with Ben. But the truth is, my instincts were right all along. Emily believed she was untouchable, that I was too safe, too stable, too afraid of losing her to ever push back. She mistook kindness for weakness. She thought loyalty meant blindness. But safety doesn't mean weakness. And betrayal doesn't mean you have to live as a victim. The night of the reveal wasn't about vengeance in the Hollywood sense. It wasn't about shouting or smashing things or begging her to choose me. It was about showing her and everyone else exactly who she really was when the mask slipped. That was the only justice that mattered. Truth. Cold, undeniable, inescapable truth. And truth cuts deeper than any weapon. Emily lost her car because her parents pulled their financial support. She lost her home when she couldn't keep up with rent on her own. She lost her reputation when the video spread. And she lost the future she thought she had with Ben once his career went down in flames. Ben lost his shot at success, the promotion he'd been counting on, and the credibility he'd spent years trying to build. And me? I lost nothing of value. What I shed was dead weight. What I gained was freedom. I walked away lighter, clearer, stronger. I bought myself time to heal and space to rebuild without the shadow of manipulation hanging over me. For the first time in years, I slept in peace. No phone checking. No doubts. No constant sense that I was one step behind a secret I couldn't quite name. Here's the message I want to leave you with. If someone shows you they're using you, believe them. Don't hand out second, third, and fourth chances while they drain your energy, your money, or your spirit. Protect your peace, even if it costs you something in the short term. Because peace is priceless. I'll never again co-sign my own destruction. And if sharing my story spares just one person from ignoring their gut, then every ounce of betrayal I endured was worth it. Because in the end, betrayal doesn't define you. How you rise after it does. That was my story, but I know I'm not the only one. Have you ever been betrayed by someone who swore they loved you, only to use you until something better came along? How did you fight back? Or did you walk away stronger? Drop your story in the comments. I read them all. And if you crave more raw, unfiltered cheating stories and the justice that follows, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next reveal.